Wondered what we were going to do today after we left Skye, but a fuse went out in the car, so the GPS didn't work. That's quite challenging. So we headed for the airport at Inverness, and after about an hour and a half figuring out what to do, because they can't repair a busted fuse, they loaned us a GPS and sent us on our way. Since we now have some time and the airport's close to Fort George, we decided to visit. After thoroughly destroying the Jacobite forces of Bonnie Prince Charlie in 1746, the Brits decided they needed a much stronger fort here in Inverness, and in 1748 they started building Fort George. While Fort George is an active duty base today, it's scheduled to be decommissioned in 16 years, and then it will be strictly a museum. There was once a moat around here. Well, here's what you see when you enter through the gate. Here's some more of the moat, and here is a drawbridge. The main approach to the fort is the principal bridge. It originally had two drawbridges, one immediately in front of the main entrance at the far end, and the second 3 spans in from the Ravelin. This latter was reconstructed in 1980 from the original drawings. Here's the plaque over the gate, and we have a lion and a unicorn. And God is something right. Arms in the pediment over the gateway are quartered, with England impaling Scotland in the first quarter, France in the second, Ireland in the third, and Hanover in the fourth. Ironic that the arms of Scotland are wrong. This is a guard room for the non-commissioned officers and the men who formed the main guard of the fort. They even have springs on the bed frame. This is what a soldier would have worn here about 1883. And of course there is a fireplace, but I would think it would still get pretty cold here. When it was built, there was a wooden shelf for everyone to sleep on. And then, hey, in the 1800s, they went with this nice spring mattress. This is a barracks room showing how officers and soldiers were quartered from 1780 to 1860. This is the prison called the Black Hole from 1753 until the 19th century. Now there's a little window over the door. I don't know if that's more current, but it doesn't look that bad. There's a little hole so they could get some fresh air in the middle of the door. This is a parade ground for ceremonial events. Practice was somewhere else. There would have been 3 men in here, and I can see these beds would unfold at night. Oh, actually there's 5 men in here. The 1700s, as the British Army continued to grow, 1,600 men slept in these barrack blocks, 2 to a bed and 8 to a room. Had to cook for themselves. They did not have a large dining room. 1 in every 100 soldiers was allowed to have his wife and children live in the barracks. In exchange for doing chores for the men, the women received half rations. Their only privacy was a blanket across the corner of a crowded, smelly room. Well, this is an officer's quarters. He's got a rug. He's got a nice double bed over there with the canopy, and of course the canopy helped keep things warm. Close that in at night and it was a lot warmer. He's got a desk where he can work. He's got lots of room out here in the middle. There's a sea chest and his wellies. Those are Wellington boots. The magazine where they stored the weapons and ammunition. He had 2,500 powder barrels in this magazine. 7th Regiment of Foot Soldiers was raised in 1794, disbanded in 1795. With 8 battalion companies, 1 grenadier company, 1 light company, totaling about 1,000 men. The regiment was dogged by sickness and a failure to fill its ranks. The highlight of the 21-month service was a stint in Portsmouth as Marines serving under Admiral Lord Howe. We remember him from the American Revolution. There's over 1,700 items in here. 214 muskets, 139 pikes, 38 swords, 182 bayonets, 180 ammunition pouches, 33 knapsacks, 950 shoe buckles. They hadn't been cared for in 200 years, and getting them to look like this was a lot of work. Here's a bunch of bayonets and bayonet scabbards to put the bayonets in. Non-commissioned officer swords. There's a nice map of the fort. We're parked down here. Walked across a little bridge, across the big bridge, and then we pass these barracks, and we're over here on this side looking at the magazine. And we'll go on down there. This is old original wall. That's probably old wall. This definitely looks like rebuilt wall. As a matter of fact, this wall has a date of 1993. And there's the chapel down here at the end of the fort. We're up here at Prince Frederick William's Demi Bastion, named after George II's youngest grandson. They do have quite a row of cannons and got a good view looking over towards Inverness. It's down there somewhere. This cannon here is on a track. There was a track on the other corner, but no cannon, so you could swing it around as needed. This is an active chapel, and this commemorates the soldiers who fought in World War I. This stone was erected by Major Nisbet Balfour, and I have Nisbets on my mother's side. Here's some drums. And a close-up of the altar and flags that have been in service in the past. Here's some old drums.